Good morning and welcome to our first interview with Roger and Helen this morning to talk a bit about Foster Denovo, its history and its future.
Morning, Matt.
Good morning. Good morning, Helen.
Hiya.
When Foster Denovo was created in 2005, could you imagine back then the journey this business would go on? And can you tell us a bit about the progress we've made and why you're so proud of our culture here?
Gosh, big question. It's been a very exciting journey, the last 17 years, and the business has progressed enormously. Probably when we started, we were quite fragmented, a lot of people doing their own thing. What we are today is a single branded proposition that is extremely client-centric. And as I say, it's been a very exciting journey. Our culture is really important to us, very people-centric. We focus on client first and foremost. Everything that we do is focused around client and client service. But we also focus on our people, our staff development, and we focus on supporting our partners to make sure that they can grow. So, culture is critical.
Thank you. I mean, culture, you talked a lot about people. Helen, you've been here 10 years. You've been overseeing the people and the protocols as part of our business and obviously your role as COO. How do you feel about our progress and the corporate history and where we're going?
Yeah, I mean, I'd echo, Roger's observation that we were a little bit fragmented. Going back in the day, we had people using different systems and, people were in similar roles but called different things, and there was probably no recognition that people were doing similar things in different parts of the organisation. Whereas now we're using the same systems, the same processes, and people can connect with others across the business, whether they're in second sight looking after corporate clients and members of corporate schemes, for example, or in private client or private wealth looking after individuals. They can connect with people that are doing a similar job across the organisation. And so what that's meant is a much stronger career path for people, because there's so much broader opportunity than there was when there were lots of smaller businesses. Now there's one larger business that can connect. So 50%, more than 50% of vacancies are filled by internal people, which demonstrates the level of development opportunity and growth there is. I mean, we have people doing jobs in the business today that I wish I could go back to them, 10 years ago and say, haha, in 10 years time you're going to be doing this, because I think it's been delightful.
And we had the celebration event recently. It really came home to me. I've been here since the beginning, pretty much, and recognising the size of the business. As partners, sometimes you only see it from a partner's perspective, but now seeing the support that sits around all of the partners, all sections of the business is very evident there. And we seemed a very young business, I'm pleased to say, as well, with all the enthusiasm of the youth that were coming through. So that was fantastic.
Yeah, and it's been a long journey, but we've really focused on investing heavily in our infrastructure. So it is people focused, but our infrastructure is vital to support that. So whether it's technology stack to make sure that we are fully integrated in the way we deliver our services to clients, whether it's our central support function that enables our partners to accelerate their growth. All of these things are things that we have been determined to deliver. So it is a dynamic and innovative culture. And it's something that has made us market leading in terms of our proposition. And we're determined as we go forward to stay at the cutting edge.
Fantastic. I mean, we've had some quite exciting news as a business in the recent last few months. Can you talk a bit about how that's going to impact the vision for Foster Denovo over the next 5 years?
Yeah, so we've been working really hard to build a business that has the credibility to be able to take on investment. And when you've been on the journey we've been on, when you have the substance that we've now delivered, both in terms of our people, the quality and capability, the infrastructure, the propositions, a natural next step was for us to accelerate our growth. So we went to market, and we were delighted to come across Crestline, who have offered us up to 100 million of investment.
Wow.
And we're going to use this to invest in everything across the business, invest in our growth, but in particular invest in our people. So our clients, our staff, and our partners. So for those reasons, we believe we have a very exciting future, and we're really enthused about where this sector is and our positioning.
We got to a place actually where I think there was an imperative to do this, because people had grown to the point in their roles that you needed to create a bigger pitch. We needed to create and continue with the growth that we've seen, so that people had somewhere to go, more things to do, bigger strategic goals, because otherwise I think we'd have started to lose some talent actually, because people have to go and develop their careers. And now I've got people going, oh wow, okay, there's all that we can go on and do and develop. So I think it became really important for us to take this step.
Do you think that investment, that opportunity has landed with all of the staff and the partners yet, or do you, because we've lived it for a lot longer, do you think they're on the same mindset as
in some ways for us it was a natural next step, wasn't it, Matt? But I think for staff, they weren't necessarily quite as connected or aware of it. The celebration day I think we had a couple of weeks ago gave us a chance to really lay down the vision that we have for the business for the future, and the feedback we've had since then has been very, very strong. And of course we're carrying people with us. We've always been a stakeholder culture, so we share the wealth that we create right across the business, and our commitment to do that going forward I think has been very well received.
Yeah, last year we beat plan in terms of our profitability, and used the excess over plan to pay bonuses. Mathematically that's what we did, and I think people know that, and now they can see that there's the opportunity for us to keep doing that. I think most people you ask in the business, they would now know. If they didn't before the celebration day, they now do.
We've got very clear values. Part of our culture is, all of our culture really is based on some very well considered values, which actually a lot of which came from our people. So the sort of behaviours that we have, the way that we share, the way that we are determined to create opportunity, I think is well understood and well recognised. And that culture, as I said, is critical to us. It's critical to the journey we've been on so far, but it's also a very, very important part of our future.
Yeah, so the way that we created our values, I think, tells you a lot. So when the founders got together and looked to create a blueprint for the business that they wanted to build and they wanted to create, they came up with a set of values, and those were embedded into the business. And then a few years ago we decided to refresh them. So we asked the staff that belong to the staff forum called The Voice to express the values that they thought the company had, so that it wasn't a desktop exercise, a sort of top down. It was almost a test as to which of the founding values had landed, and they had landed. So sure, we've renamed them, and they're fresher now, and I think people can remember them more easily, and all that. They're in the words of the people, but what they say is, you did it. Well done, you did it.
Yeah. And as importantly, that came across very clearly. We're better in people's gold, which is a huge statement of our intent, and I think the journey that we've been on. And a big part of the reason we got promoted from silver to gold was because of the connection of our people with our values.
It's very evident. I speak to people that join the business, and it's easy for us who've been here a while to talk about that culture, but when they come on board, a lot of people said, I heard all about this culture thing and the values thing, but I didn't really feel it, and now I'm on board I can really notice it. So that's great, and it's always a difficult message to convince people that are joining of that message. So we've got lots of exciting things for those people that are here. What about those people that aren't here yet? What message you got for them?
Well, I think for partners, as we call them, advisors, I think it's a really exciting time to join Foster Denovo. We are very well prepared to enable practices and partners who join us to grow. So we have a central support function that delivers exceptional support. We have a technology stack that is there and available to help drive efficiency. And we find that most partners who join us see growth of somewhere between 30 and 40% in their first 2 years. We've got many, many examples of that. And largely that's because they are giving us the stuff to do that a lot of them are doing themselves. We take responsibility for a great deal of the day-to-day operational requirement that seems to absorb and detract from looking after clients and from growing. So what you will find when you join FD is you grow quickly.
Yeah, fantastic.
You're also joining something. You're joining a community, and the community is it's buzzy, it's youthful. We're excited, we're growing. There's nothing like working in a growing business. I'm sure we've all been in situations where we've worked in businesses that are squeezed, and things are difficult. And the difference when you're working in a business that's on fire, it's so much more fun, and there's so much more opportunity to grow and develop your own skills, but also just to connect with other people that have got loads of energy.
And the connectivity, I think, is really important. Having had so much time apart during the pandemic, we brought everyone together. It really felt energised as a result of that. What messages would you be giving to employees that are going to potentially come on board? What kind of opportunities exist, not just for connectivity, but also for their career and growth?
I mean, the first thing I always say when I stand at induction is, employees that get involved and get engaged get so much more out. You know, if you really want to get something from your time at Foster Denovo, just get involved and get engaged, meet people, you know, care, understand what we're all about, learn about your clients, you know, and that's the most important thing. And then now we're in an environment where there will be more opportunity because we are growing so fast. So, you know, if you join as a junior, there will be opportunity. If you join as a senior, you will be able to take more responsibility. In fact, try not taking more responsibility. That, you know, that's, and I suppose, you know, if you want to plod, Foster Denovo is not going to be right for you because, you know, you won't fit. You know, people here, the people that come here and learn, and so they're all pretty dynamic.
Yeah. And people tend to stay once they get engaged, right? That's you know, our average tenure is pretty good, I think.
It is, yeah. We've longevity of staff is one of the real strengths, and I think people stay where they grow. You know, so when you come to a business like Foster Denovo that is growing, the opportunities are there for you to grow your career with the business, and we're very development focused. Key part of our culture as well. So whether it's through mentoring or through training and development, you know, we have a fully resourced training team as well. So I think there's opportunity for you to go in the direction that you want to go. And as I say, most people join us because of those values.
And I think the final point I'd make about connectivity is that despite the fact we've grown as much as we have, there's still a real connection from the people at the top of the business, for want of a better phrase, from those that may be on their development phase, whether that's as a partner or as a support member. I think there's lots of access to senior people and learning.
Well, as you know, Matt, the business was built on some very deep-rooted, long-standing relationships, and those relationships have continued, but we've enhanced it by bringing more and more people to the business, and the relationship remains just as important as it ever was. So it is critical. It is about the people, ultimately.
Can we talk a little bit about money, about opportunities to be rewarded and as opposed to just recognition? What opportunities are there for people joining the business now and in the future?
Well, we have a Share in Success programme, which is all about sharing in the success of the business. So the more that the value of the business grows, the more opportunity there is for all of our people to share in that. So that will be there. You know, as I said, we share bonuses at the end of the year. You know, if we've exceeded our plans, then, you know, we give back to those people that have made it possible. And, you know, it's just the case that if you grow, if your role grows, of course you would expect that that financially you would be rewarded for that, and you will be.
Anything to add, Roger, on that for the partners as well?
Yeah, I think for the partners, you know, we invest heavily in support, but we know we're a value-add proposition, so we do need to get the balance right. And I think what advisors and practices that join us will see is their top-line growth being very significant, but actually the bottom-line growth is what probably is impacted the most, because our ability to take some of the heavy workload away from them, make them more efficient, deliver really client-centric propositions that enable them in the longer term to create greater value for their practice is probably one of the most attractive benefits. So it's not just come and join us and grow, it's we can give you a really smooth, client-centric exit at a higher value as and when the time comes for you maybe to consider.
Yeah, again, I think if you bring ambition here, you're going to do well. You come with a plan to grow your business, but perhaps not with, you know, all of the knowledge to do it, or not with all of the support services to do it, or maybe just not the people around you to say, yeah, I did it like this, you know, try doing, I know what you're doing, but try this because I did it and it worked. You know, if you come with an ambition to grow your advisory business, then
ambitious people with growth mindset is absolutely.
And I think that I don't think it'd be too bold a statement to say we've got some of the very best people in our industry in this business, and the great thing I think about those individuals is their willingness to share their ideas and their best practices with people that are willing to grow. We run lots of development forums around that. So I suppose just to sort of conclude, really, the sort of last question I've got is we call ourselves a partnership. We refer to partners. Obviously, you know, people say, "Oh, are you actually a partnership?" So clearly, we're not a limited, we're not a legal partnership. But what does partnership mean to you, and what does it mean to us as a business?
Well, I think partnership, by its definition, is about sharing. You know, and we share success, as Helen's mentioned, through share options and share schemes. And you know, I'd be delighted when we do get to the end of our journey, 5-10 years from now, perhaps, and everybody's crossing the line together. That, to me, is what it's all about. You know, we wear the same badge, we're in the same team. And that means that when there's difficult times, we share those difficulties together and we spread the load and the burden, but when we succeed, we succeed together. We share a lot of business because we've developed deep silos of technical capability right across the business. We can always put our best foot forward when we're dealing with client circumstances, and because we share values, you can introduce a client to another partner across the business with confidence, knowing they'll be dealt with in the way that you would want them dealt with yourself. So all of that leads to our ability to serve our clients more effectively, and ultimately that is our intent, is that we deliver exceptional client service. And you know, our net promoter score, which is one of the highest in the sector, you know, is real evidence of us delivering consistently to that mandate.
A bit of your thunder there, Helen. Net promoter score is more your line, isn't it? So, yeah, I mean, and partnership for you, anything you wanted to add?
Yeah, I mean, there's a thing that happens at Foster Denovo when there's something that isn't as good as we want it to be, and that is that everyone goes towards it. And that tells you an awful lot about the business. So in other places, what happens when there's something that doesn't look quite right is that people, you know, they run in the opposite direction. And here, actually, what happens is you get a crowd of people around it looking. And, you know, at times, what we have to say is stay in your lane, because there's so many people that are going to a problem and saying, how can I help? And I think that demonstrates the partnership in action.
Perfect. Well, I think that's a lovely way to finish. Roger, Helen, thanks very much for joining us, and have a good day. Thank you.
Thanks, Matt.